Mhm. All right, guys. It's been a few weeks. We're back. You watch, I listen. Week 8 or week 17. Normally the last week of the NFL season, but it is the second to last week of the season. Um, NFL pick show. Manfro will be sending his picks into me, but Josh and I decided, none of us have anything going on. Obviously, that's not true. Manfro did. But let's just do this. Let's run through some picks. Josh, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Are you?
How was your Christmas weekend?
It was good, man. Low key, just with the in-laws and just honestly, I prefer the less I have to see people in my family, but my in-laws are really cool, so it was enjoyable. How about you?
Not too bad. My dad and my brother-in-law both had COVID, so
That's
Christmas
nice.
plans were canceled.
Fucking
So it
everyone
was like,
has it, man.
yeah,
Everyone
so it was
has
a
it. I
little
don't give a
low-key
shit.
weekend, which was kind of bad because I wound up going to Target and we had already bought Christmas gifts for my niece and everything. I
Oh
went to
God,
Target the night we were supposed to go to my parents' house to meet with everybody, and I was like, "Oh, look, they got baby toys here and stuff," and I wound up spending another $250.
on yourself.
No, on my niece.
They make
Asshole.
the best butt plugs.
Shut up.
Quick shout out to my buddy Steve. I pulled this card today. It's a San Francisco Giants, Chili Davis. He's a huge Chili Davis fan. So very random. But yeah, guys, we're back. 2 weeks left in the NFL season before the playoffs start. It's been a really weird season. I think we can all agree on that.
Oh yeah.
Um, Before we go into any more of that, we'd be remiss if we did not pay tribute to the man that we have, the namesake of a game that we have donated hours upon days, upon weeks, upon months, upon years of the game that is named after him, Mr. John Madden, passing away on Tuesday at the age of 85. It's crazy because that All Madden documentary came out on Christmas Day,
Yeah.
and then he passes away on Tuesday in the movie theater. I get to take a piss and I look at my phone. I'm like, holy shit. I was like, all right, let me go back and watch the movie and then I'll think about it then. Um, yeah, I think in our lifetime, no one was more synonymous with the sport of American football more than John Madden.
Oh, definitely not. And when you look at the cultural impact of the game, you got the Greg Jennings video. On a personal level, one of my great friendships of my life was forged through a Madden rivalry. Our friend Chris,
Yeah,
that we met all those years ago. We were just acquaintances at a point, and then it became a, hey man, you play Madden? Yeah, I play Madden. And we,
let's
had
play.
this heated rivalry that went on for a couple of years, from like Madden '04 to Madden '07.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. The amount of time I've been playing Madden from playing with my brothers when I was 8, 9, 10 years old. When they were just kicking the shit out of me, and I only knew how to run like Hail Mary and Engage 8, and to growing into it to the point where I remember the exact game when I figured out how to beat my brother, and it was Madden '03 with Marshall Falk on the cover. And then I've played Madden every year since then, besides the 2 years that the 2K games were out. And that was when I thought it was the superior game, and I still think 2K5 is the best game ever. But if you haven't gotten a chance to watch that All Madden documentary, it's unbelievable because and Belichick had a great quote about him. He's like, he had a Hall of Fame career as a coach, and our generation maybe doesn't remember that. Obviously, doesn't remember that or know that as much. But then he had a Hall of Fame career as a broadcaster, and he is the namesake of a video game franchise that has sold over $7 billion in units.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, and then the commercials, the impressions, and every broadcaster after Madden in football is trying to be the next John Madden, and I don't think there ever will be one.
Definitely won't be Chris Collinsworth.
No, and I don't think Collinsworth is that bad. He just doesn't have that, and the documentary does such a better job of explaining this, but that like every man kind of feel like where it's just like
Mhm.
it's one of your boys talking, watching the game, which
Well,
is why like
when I think of those Sunday night and those Monday night football broadcasts with John Madden and Al Michaels versus the current, Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth, when you think of Madden, you think about his breakdowns of the game. You think about the way he talked about the game. With Collinsworth, what he has is the Collinsworth slide, and that's what makes him culturally relevant. Madden was just a pure football guy, and he was, like you said, a guy's guy.
Yeah, it was. That's one reason I like the Manning cast so much, because it's like you're just hearing two guys who happen to be, you know, maybe out short of Tom Brady, the most impressionable quarterbacks of our generation. You know, because Eli obviously having two massive moments and playing in New York, and then Peyton being Peyton, and they have these great endearing personalities, and that's what separated John Madden from the typical broadcaster. The typical broadcaster who just came in and said, this is the play. Madden went in there and he tried to explain it to you in a way that you could understand. And then obviously when the video game comes along, and they have a great moment when he was talking to EA Sports, and they were like, I don't think we can handle having, all offensive linemen on there. So why don't we just have like two blocking? And he said, no, if it's not 11 on 11, we're not putting my name on it. And I think most of us would say, and maybe not everyone wants to admit, how many of us actually learned football from playing Madden?
100% I did.
Yeah, it's like the idea of what plays are. I don't think we would have ever known what play action was without playing Madden.
I think that the one of the very few things that is like truly okay for a fan to scrutinize a coach on is time management, because I think we all learned time management from Madden.
100%. And yeah, I'm doing this right now.
All right.
Yeah, and it was funny because like I wasn't like sad about Madden or anything. I was just like, damn. And I think it's great that he got to see the documentary before he passed. Just what a fucking life, what a fucking legacy. And again, no one will ever come close. And next year, it's going to have to be Madden on the cover of Madden, right?
Oh, it would be crazy for it not to be that way.
And I would love if they just pulled some old audio and put him in there, because it's just that's all I wanted was John Madden in the Madden video games.
I think that like where I stopped really liking Madden so much was when they started putting all these other random sportscasters in the game.
Yeah, that's fair. There's been some decent ones. Like actually, I think the best one on Madden since he left was Gus Johnson, because Gus Johnson calls games with such a pizzazz and enthusiasm. Honestly, I just wish it would be like Al and Chris, because we could shit on Chris Collinsworth all we want, but it's a familiar, like comfortable sound. You know what I mean? Or just give me Nance and Romo on Madden. That would be fucking
I'd
great.
be cool with that, yeah.
But, big ups to John Madden, the legendary John Madden. And it's weird because he's kind of been out of the spotlight for so long. You know what I mean? Like, he quietly called his last game ever, a Super Bowl we watched at your house between the Cardinals and Steelers. Mm-hmm. And then he just kind of went to the background. And, I think just in itself, the fact that he retired at age 43, I believe, as a head coach with the greatest winning percentage in NFL history as a head coach, with any coach over 100 games. And he wasn't one of these guys that went back and went to another team and did this, and that. He found his way to maybe an even more successful venture. So big ups to John Madden and his family. And why don't we get into this? So we'll talk a little bit of just what's going on in football right now. Weird season, as we said at the top.
Yeah.
I don't think any team is particularly like, that's the team to beat. Right? Am I crazy?
No, I don't think so. Even with the Packers having the best record in the NFC, I still don't know. Like, if you put them up against the Cowboys, I have a hard time picking that game.
Yeah, well, even when you look at who the number one seed in the AFC is, in the Chiefs, they had that early season struggle there where I wasn't too sure about them, and they've looked great lately. They've had the best defense in the NFL since week 7. Contrary to some of our friends who tried telling us how bad their defense was, just to make them happy. But it's still, I could see the Chiefs losing this week. And it's such a crapshoot. And, the Bills suddenly look like they're back to being the Bills after that debacle of a game in the elements a few weeks ago. I don't know, man. It's weird. Like, it feels like one of these seasons where the team that everyone picked coming into the year is just going to steamroll through, or both in the AFC and NFC, some team is going to catch hot and ride it all the way. I love those kind of seasons, kind of like the Cardinals did that year in 2009. So bring it back to Madden. I don't know, man. It's, not to go at my own team, but you talk about NFL history. Think how long the NFL's been around. The Dolphins become the first team in history to lose 7 straight in a season and win 7 straight in a season, to go from 1-7 to 8-7, and right now be the 7th seed and control your own destiny. That's how crazy this season has been. We've never seen that.
Yeah, it's one of those things too. Like if you look at the Chiefs and what they've done, the turnaround that they've had, I think that the same thing can be said about the Chiefs and the Dolphins. Is the level of competition that they faced, since they started comeback has not been the best. But to that same point, everybody in the league, like there are, God, I was looking at it the other day. There's no less than like 7 or 8 teams, if I remember correctly, that have a record of what would be around 500 in the old format.
I think as of today, going into the week 17, I think it's at 13 or 16 between there. Teams are still alive in the hunt for the playoffs. I mean, Atlanta, your team is still technically in it.
Yeah.
Think about that. The Chiefs, the Bengals, the Dolphins, the Titans, the Raiders are still in it. The Colts, another team, started 0-3 and now has a chance to make the playoffs. The Patriots, the Saints in the NFC, the Bucks, the Eagles are in this, and the Eagles are one of the hottest teams in football. The Chargers obviously had laid an egg this week, but the 49ers are in it. The Cardinals, who have fallen on hard times. The Cowboys, who look great. The Rams, the Ravens are still in this. The Vikings are still in this. The Packers are still in this, and the Steelers are still in this. That's fucking crazy.
When I think about the teams that, like, I can tell you the teams that are bad. I can't tell you the teams that are good. It's weird.
Well, so it depends on what your definition of good is, because if you tell me the Chiefs are good, I say yeah. And with my own team, if you tell me the Dolphins are good, I'm going to go, listen, they're tough. They play good defense. I'm not going to say they're good because you do have to measure the competition and the things you're doing. Now, the Chiefs have always been getting knocked this season because the offense has not been what we've seen from them. It's not flying down the field. Patrick Mahomes, who was one of the most efficient with not turning the ball over, was turning the ball all over the place. And now those things started to tighten up and clean up. And Tyreek is Tyreek, and Kelsey looks like Kelsey. And you got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who's running his ass off. And the defense that struggled so mightily historically is now playing well. They're a good team. The Packers, good team. But then again, with the Dolphins, the Ravens, the Steelers, they're in it. The Chargers, I don't think, are that good. Like they're there. The Chargers and the Dolphins aren't that far apart. The big difference is that Justin Herbert is a historic young quarterback. So this is what makes going into these last 2 weeks so amazing. It sucks, and I'll say it again. It sucks that COVID wrecked a lot of these games. What the Dolphins did to Ian Book and the Saints on Sunday should have never happened. That game should have probably been postponed. Based on the circumstances, really what should have happened is none of those players that were asymptomatic should have been pulled out of games, period. You're fucking with the integrity of the product, even if it benefited my own team, period. I don't know, man. It's going to be a really cool postseason, though. I'm very, very excited. And with my team in control of their own destiny, it's a cool feeling that I'm fully expecting to just come crashing down in horrible fashion. It doesn't matter if I say that. That's the thing. It doesn't matter if I say that. I know it. That's probably what's going to happen, and I'll still be completely devastated.
The way I look at it, let me see. Let me check the Falcons record right now. So they are 7-8. 7-8. Now, I fully expect them to lose to the Bills this week. They'll put them at 7-9.
Yeah.
And with a matchup next week against the I want to say Saints.
Yeah. Realistic,
I can see them winning that game, and that puts them exactly. What did I say to you when we came into this
9-7
with this extra game? This would be an 8-8 season for them regularly. They're going to go 8-9.
But it could also end in a tie, so you could still technically be 8-8. That would be cool. So it's crazy. I woke up this morning and I completely forgot that there wasn't a Thursday night game. Like I went to go look, at some of the odds and whatnot. I'm like, holy shit. There's no football. Then I was like, every week for the last few years, there's Saturday games. There's no Saturday games this week.
Yeah.
So Sunday, every team except the Steelers and Browns are playing. So
yeah,
a lot of football.
This is a pure football Sunday, and
Red Zone is going to be lit this weekend. It's going to be fucking awesome.
This is a big week on a lot of fronts. So it's a pure football Sunday, and this is going to very likely be Ben Roethlisberger's last home game as a Steeler.
And that's there's some really interesting factors going around here. It's been, as someone that's like an avid sports radio listener, like I listen to WFN all day. kind of love when the New York teams are both like fucking horrific because people are so angry. But the Jets fan is always angry. They always have this expectation that things are supposed to be different. You're the fucking Jets. They're going exactly as they're supposed to. But hearing the Giants fan is interesting because you do get the ones that are angry. But the Giants fan became so apathetic so quickly about being terrible. It's
Yeah.
very, very interesting. So let's get into this. So standings going into the last 2 weeks of the season. Now, the last time we were on was what, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago?
About that, yeah.
We were separated by, I think, 2 games at that point.
Yep.
And Josh, Manfro moved into first place and Josh into second. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. So since then, 4 weeks ago, Josh, you are now in last place.
Yep.
At 135, 90, and 1. You had 1 week that just sank everything for you, and I had 2 really good weeks. Manfred's in second at 140, 85, and 1. And I'm in first at 145, 80, and 1. So Manfred hasn't sent me his picks yet. I will tell him mine in advance and to see if he wants to just try and come up. 5 games is doable in 2 weeks.
Sure.
If you do 2 better than me, 3 better than me, 4, whatever. Very doable. Josh, it's on you now if you just want to try and have good weeks or try and play a spoiler.
Listen, this is what I said to you. We talked about this the other day. I have more integrity than to try to play catch up at this point of the season. I understand that I tanked myself in a couple of weeks here, and I accept that. I'm not going to give myself bad picks to try and catch up. I'd rather get the best weeks that I can in and have a respectable record at the end of the season. And whichever one of you or Manfro comes up on top, I respect that, and good for you guys. But I'm not gonna tank my season with the hope of catching up.
See, this is what's interesting is that I have no integrity, and that's exactly what I would do the exact opposite. If I know that I'm about to fucking come in last place, first off, I'm going to be so pissed that I lose that I have to commit all my energy to making sure you have the feeling that I'm dreading. So I would just tank it. If I see the person in second place, I'm hunting them, and I'm going to pick everything opposite to them. So you do have that opportunity if you want to be a cocksucker. Or you just want to try and make it as close, and if it happens organically, you're better than the worst guy.
Listen, I'm a Falcons fan. I'm a seasoned Falcons fan. I'm used to seasons like this. You're pulling ahead, and then all of a sudden you're not.
Oh, true. As a Mets fan, I'm very familiar with that as well. All right, so the first game I have here, your Atlanta Falcons taking on the Buffalo Bills. Now, what do you think the spread in this game is?
Oh, it's got to be at least 13 points.
Yes, it is 14.5 in favor of the Buffalo Bills. That's a pretty rough spread. The Falcons are coming off the win over the Lions. The Bills getting back on track against the Patriots. So since I'm in first place, this is an easy one. It's the Buffalo Bills. Like I said, they're hitting their stride. I'm very happy that I had a fear there for a minute that they were going to miss the playoffs, and I wanted them to miss the playoffs just so they can not win a Super Bowl again. I'm so invested into the Bills losing. If my dream scenario in the NFL playoffs right now is that the Bills make it to the Super Bowl and lose, I would rather them win the AFC because it would just taste so good again from those asshole Buffalo Bill fan tears. I'll be so happy. And yes, I do resort to hating your team when my team is terrible. But yeah, give me the Bills. Big game from Josh Allen.
Yeah, give me the Bills as well. I am very happy with what the Falcons have done this season, what they put together. I am a believer in Arthur Smith. I don't know how much longer Matt Ryan's going to be around, but as long as, from what I understand, from things I've read, from the beat writers and stuff like that, Matt's got at least 2 years left on this team. So I'm hopeful if they could take.
So you draft his replacement. You see what happens. There's always a possibility he gets hurt at his age. Try to let him learn behind Matt Ryan. He's a good leader, good guy. He could definitely be the mentor role. And clear out your cap.
Well, listen, this is what I have to say. Finally, a bad season like this, to the Matt Ryan detractors out there, say he's benefited from Julio Jones, he benefited from Roddy White. He's got an all world talent at tight end and a rookie, and I get that. So he's still got some elite talent there.
Yeah,
with guys like shit, I can't even name you some of our wide receivers. He's still on pace to hit 4,000 yards.
Listen, and I mean, obviously, Cordero Patterson and what he's done this season, and now he's just, played his best season of his career. He's going to get paid a shit ton from another team.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I think the Bills, you can't, I mean, listen, 14.5 is a lot, but the Bills are playing with some swagger right now. So,
Yeah.
all right, next game, garbage game of the week, one of the garbage games. The New York Football Giants taking on the Chicago Bears. The Giants are maybe the most boring team I've watched in my life. They are dreadful to watch. There's moments that they're so dreadful that it's entertaining, but we heard Giants fans clamor for a week to see what Jake Fromm has, and we saw it was horrible to watch. The Bears, they're one of these teams. They know it's ending, but they've played tough. Just the Giants' inability to score at all with anyone. I can't hear about Daniel Jones, getting hurt and that derailed them. They weren't scoring points with Daniel Jones. He's definitely better than Glenn and Fromm. Bears, give them to me, and I think they'll cover the 6.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bears as well. It's Giants are hopeless. They're lost.
Yeah, it's pretty entertaining. All right, this might be the best game of the week. The Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Chiefs, like we talked about, fully back in stride. The Bengals just put a fucking domination on the Ravens. I think Andy, I almost said Andy Dalton. Jeez. Joe Burrow threw for 523 yards, fourth most in NFL history, breaking the franchise record held by Boomer Esiason. Yeah, he was awesome. I'll be real with you. It's a little crazy how nuts they went about it when you looked at who the Ravens defense was playing. Their starting cornerback was their sixth string cornerback, and then he got hurt. It was literally a young rising star against the JV squad, but he still had to do it. He's had a very good year. That team looks nice, but I like the Chiefs here. I think their defense is better. The Ravens couldn't stop a nosebleed. The Chiefs can, and their way they're playing on offense, they can pick it up and keep pace. So give me the Chiefs.
This one I'll take the Bengals. I'm comfortable taking against what I'm assuming you and Manfred are both going to pick here. I think that Burrow to Chase is going to be the new premier connection in the NFL, and I've said that a couple of times.
I mean, and Higgins is a monster, and Joe Mixon's a monster. It's a really good, fun, young offense.
Yep.
All right. Next game, my team. The winners of 7 in a row. The Miami Dolphins taking on the Tennessee Titans. Titans still without Derrick Henry, but coming off the win on Thursday night against the San Francisco 49ers, where they were 3.5-point underdogs. I'm taking my team here. I don't have to waste time on this. It's interesting that the Dolphins' best playoff chances in a few years ride on the shoulders of beating Ryan Tannehill and Bill Belichick. So it is kind of cool in that way. My heart or my brain tells me that Ryan Tannehill is going to light them up. It's just how it goes with former Dolphins against them. But I really like the way Miami's defense is playing. I think they've become pretty efficient on offense with a terrible offensive line. I'm really, really happy with the development of Tua. To have the 32nd ranked offensive line in the league and to only be sacked 15 times, he gets rid of the ball quick. And Jalen Waddle looks fucking awesome. My boy at safety, Javon Holland, rookie, looks awesome. Dolphins win this game. Going to be a close one, though.
I am going to, in the Ryan Tannehill revenge game, pick Ryan Tannehill to do what he has done best over the course
go
of his
fuck
career,
yourself, you fucking sack of shit.
And that is drive the Dolphins away from the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true. He's very good at that. Yeah, so I'm excited for the game, and I just expect to be really pissed off by the end of it. Next game, the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Right after it was announced that Carson Wentz tested positive for COVID-19 and unvaccinated. I don't know why I did that in quotes. He is unvaccinated. He would have had to sit out 10 games, regardless of symptomatic, which is asymptomatic or symptomatic, ridiculous. But they changed that rule. It looks like he's playing because when it was announced that he wasn't playing, the line shifted like 2.5 points. I like the Colts here. Love the way they're playing offense. I love Jonathan Taylor. I love the head coach, Frank Reich. And Darius Leonard's back too. So give me the Colts to beat the Raiders at home.
I'm going to take the Colts here as well.
Okay. Terrible game. Jacksonville Jaguars that coming off that horrible game loss with the Jets, taking on the New England Patriots. Just lost to the Bills. Losers 2 in a row. It's the Patriots. Belichick, rookie quarterbacks. It's not even competitive.
Right.
Is that you agreeing, or are you taking Jacksonville?
No, that's me agreeing.
Grow a set. All right. The Carolina Panthers, which remember how everyone was hot on them when the season started and they were playing well?
Yeah.
And it's an absolute disaster. Taking on the New Orleans Saints. Obviously, they had a terrible situation against the Dolphins. They're getting all those guys back, though. The Saints are 6.5 point favorites. Panthers are a dumpster fire. Rule doesn't know what he's doing. He's not an NFL head coach. Give me the Saints.
Yeah, I'm taking the Saints here as well.
All right. This game, Tom Brady taking on the team he hates the most, and he has had his second most success against. I still think it's the Bills that he's most successful against. The Jets coming off the win over the Jags, but the Bucks are 12.5 point favorites. I think Brady's going to just torch him. He's going to love it. Play it at MetLife. The few Jets fans that are there just going to rip him apart. It's going to be awesome to watch. I do hate Tom Brady. This is not me rooting for Tom Brady. This is me rooting to see the Jets just get lit up because it doesn't affect the Dolphins at all. So give me Brady and the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bucks here as well. I wish that this was the game that Richie went to.
I'm not fucking watching that Tom Brady documentary under any circumstances.
There's a Tom Brady documentary?
Yeah, Man in the Arena on ESPN. It's about every one of his Super Bowls he's ever played in.
Yeah, I'm good
and
on
it
that.
covers like that season. No, dude. Well, I mean, as a Falcons fan, there's no documentaries about them, so they're going to be featured heavily in one part of it.
Yeah, I don't want to watch that.
It'll show like most of the big highlights of the game.
No, it'll show them the Patriots highlights of the game. It's not going to show the the offensive.
Well, listen, I'm a glass half full guy. I view it as Falcons being highlighted on a Tom Brady documentary. You see it as them losing. So just gotta change your attitude. All right, next game, NFC East battle. The Philadelphia Eagles coming off the win over the New York Giants, taking on the Washington football team, who are just also decimated by injuries, COVID, got stomped by the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football, 56-14. But they're getting guys back. The Eagles are pretty much the only team here that I think can win. I don't think Washington has enough going on. If everything was fine for them, I think they'd have a chance. It's an NFC East game on the road, so you never know, but they just have too many missing pieces at important spots, and the Eagles are playing really well, even when they're being dumb and not running the football. But give me the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles as well. I think it's just the end of the season for the football team. I don't see them doing anything.
Agreed. Next game, the Denver Broncos, who are a dumpster fire themselves, taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers coming off maybe the worst loss for any potential playoff team this season, giving up 42 points to the Houston Texans. It's a weird game just because Justin Herbert has struggled against Denver historically. That's why I think the 6.5 spread is crazy. He's always struggled with his 2 years. This is going to be his fourth matchup, and they're the team he struggled with the most. I'm tempted to take Denver here. Legitimately am. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to go with Denver in the upset here. I'm going to take a risk to see if I can build my lead. The Chargers, I think that was a season-ending game last week. You can't play like that against the Texans this late in the season. I don't care about any given Sunday. So give me the Broncos with a big defensive performance and a good game from Drew Lock.
I'm going to take the Chargers here. I like to think that in defensive or in divisional matchups, you tend to have a quarterback versus quarterback type of game.
Sure.
And I am going to take Justin Herbert over Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater or whoever the Broncos want to trot out there.
Yeah, believe it or not, no matter what you think of Tua, it is still a better quarterback situation with the Dolphins than it is in Denver.
Yeah, absolutely.
Period. Okay. I should take the Chargers. I actually had the Chargers written down, and then something came to me. Probably diarrhea, but something came to me. All right, next game. The Houston Texans coming off the win over the Los Angeles Chargers, taking on the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers coming off the win on Thursday against the Tennessee Titans. But the 49ers now are going to probably be playing Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know if you can believe this. He's hurt again. So Trey Lance, who is a very raw rookie, very talented. But it's the Texans. This is the perfect landing spot to put him in, and hopefully he puts on a show. He's improved since we last saw him in a starting role, and the 49ers are in it. So give me the 49ers to beat Houston.
Yeah, I'm going to take the 49ers here as well.
Cool. The Arizona Cardinals at the Dallas Cowboys. Arizona was the 1 seed a few weeks ago, then the 2 seed, and now they are a wild card team fighting to stay alive. The injury to DeAndre Hopkins proven to be huge for the Cardinals offense. And this was my concern even when Arizona was hot and were the best team in the league for a few weeks. They're the oldest team in the league. And you're starting to see that like unfold. You're getting really good performances from James Conner. The defense is really good, but Kyler's not the same without DeAndre Hopkins, and why would he be? It's the best receiver in the league still. So I'm going to take Dallas here. Dallas is playing great football. Micah Parsons is an animal. Dak has just had the best game of his life, I think. And I just love the way they're playing defense. I think they're coaching well, getting Zeke healthy. So give me the Cowboys to put a hurting on the Arizona Cardinals.
I'm going to take the Cowboys here also. Same reasons. I like the way that they look. I like what how Dak is playing these days. Even with the detriment of having Mike McCarthy as a head coach, they're still playing pretty well.
Yeah. That's that what they did in Washington on Monday Night Football was pretty brutal. Or Sunday Night Football, rather. All right, next game is the Detroit Lions taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks a mess. Lions proven to be a feisty team all year. Really, they're not a good team, and they don't have a lot of talent, but you could see the way they play for Coach Dan Campbell, so it's impressive. I like the Lions here. I think Russell Wilson knows he's out. I think Pete Carroll knows he's out. I think it looks like a team that realizes maybe we shouldn't give up 2 first-round picks for a safety who's actually a linebacker. And I think Pete Carroll will be retiring, and I think Russell Wilson will be leaving the Seattle Seahawks. So give me the Lions, a team that, they knew they were bad all year. They fought all the time. The Seahawks are a team that I think just quit. So give me the Lions.
The Josh of 2 years ago would never have made this pick, but I am going to be taking the Lions. Russell Wilson looks like he's not playing like the Yankees second baseman. He looks like he's playing like the Red Sox second baseman.
Well, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because it was a serious hand injury, but you rushed back. But some team's going to pay a lot to get him in the offseason. Next game, Los Angeles Rams taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Rams got away with one this past week. They were on the ropes against Minnesota, and Stafford was terrible. And the Ravens are just injuries, COVID, the whole nine. The 2 failed 2-point conversions that they had against the Browns, and then against who the fuck was it a couple weeks ago? God damn, I have it in my notes right here. The late game. Oh, against Green Bay, against the Packers. That kind of screwed them, but then the injuries happened as well. I think this game will be close. I thought about taking Baltimore, but I'm going to stick with the Rams. I just think Ravens have way too much going on to overcome right now.
I'm going to agree with you there. I'm going to take the Rams also.
Cool. All right, next game, the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Green Bay Packers. So NFC North battle. The Vikings are 7.5-point underdogs on the road. Did beat Green Bay earlier this season, but Green Bay looks awesome. I think they are the closest to looking like a great team overall. Based on they just got Jari Alexander back. The running game is awesome. Devontae Adams is awesome. Aaron Rodgers is probably the MVP, even though Jonathan Taylor should be strongly considered. And I fucking hate Kirk Cousins, and I don't like the Vikings. And it doesn't matter. Like, it's a primetime game with Kirk Cousins, so he's going to be fucking ass. That's what he does. This is the thing with Kirk Cousins. I don't think he's a terrible quarterback. I think he gets paid an awful lot of money to be a decent quarterback. If you put him on a team where he is the 10th highest paid player, you could build around him and get away with it. His numbers prove that he's got a good arm. He's smart. He's smart with the football more often than not, but he is not good enough to overcome severe deficiencies to his offensive line, overcome injuries. He doesn't make guys around him better. So, but put him on like a team where he's a 10th highest paid guy, he's all right. But Green Bay wins this one, and I think they put a statement up. Realize that they're playoff ready. So give me the Packers, and I think they cover the 7.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Packers as well. The just like you said, this is divisional matchup at home for the Packers. They're ready. They need to show the world that they're here for the playoffs, and what better way to do that than to take down your divisional rival?
Absolutely. All right, and the Monday night game, we talked a little bit about it before. The Cleveland Browns taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I just realized I started talking very seriously. I started like eulogizing Ben Roethlisberger in my head.
Like he died.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he doesn't have much else going on. Like I can't see him being a broadcast guy. He's just, if he dies out there, he dies. The Browns are just one of those teams that's just like missing something, and it could be the quarterback. He hasn't played great, so there's no defending him. The Steelers are actually 3.5-point underdogs at home against the Browns in possibly Ben Roethlisberger's last game at Heinz Field. So I'm going to take the Steelers. I think it's one of these weird games. I don't think it'll be a great game. I think it'll probably be very low scoring based on what you've seen from them. I do think the Browns have more talent, but I don't think that they know how to win yet and how to overcome. And I think the Steelers will show out for Roethlisberger's last game.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Steelers here as well. I think that Ben is one of those rare guys in sports that has that little bit of magic about him. And even though even though he hasn't played well the last couple of years, even though he's been injured,
this year has been terrible.
I think that, in his mind, this is his last home game. He's the Steelers franchise quarterback, him and Terry Bradshaw, 1A, 1B. I think that this is going to be a signature Roethlisberger game.
Yeah, I could see that. He does have he seems like one of those guys that has that kind of moment, but who knows? He could just come out and lay a fucking egg, and then we're like, wow, he's really done.
Yeah, true.
That would be, he gets injured. Like he always gets hurt, but he gets actually injured. That'd be really cool. All right, guys. Week 17.
1 second before we sign off, I want to ask you a couple of questions.
Go for it.
With it being the end of the season, with you being a sports history guy, you're adding on an extra game to this season. You got two guys. You got Cooper Kupp and you got Kyle Pitts. Cooper Kupp is the chance to be the first wide receiver to ever break 2,000 yards in the season. He is a little over 200 yards away from that. Do you asterisk him if he hits it? No,
absolutely not. Listen, this is the truth. Like you can say like this season was more dominant. And I have to say this as a guy that Dan Marino is my favorite player of all time. He's the best Dolphins quarterback ever. And the greatest season that any football historian will tell you is the 1984 Dan Marino season when he won the MVP, because what he did based on the rules at the time hadn't come close to being touched until Peyton Manning came along. Like they were untouchable numbers.
Right.
And I think you have to acknowledge the way the game is now. And I would have thought the same thing about Roger Maris. They're not going back to 17 games. Right. Genie's out of the bottle. So you can't act like every record is only a record if it happened in that span. You can argue that it was more impressive. Absolutely. But you can't say it's not a record anymore. It's just not how it works. No. So I would. He's absolutely the real record holder.
All right, fair enough. So then, same thing for Kyle Pitts if he breaks that.
Yeah, for sure. Listen. Jalen Waddle has a chance to break Anquan Bolden's. He probably will break Anquan Bolden's rookie reception record. He only needs 5 receptions in the next 2 games.
Yeah.
So he did miss a game, so he would technically still play 16, but I don't think that makes it an asterisk either. Actually, there's a better argument for that because he was hurt. He didn't play all the games his team was supposed to, but. These records are meant to fall, especially as the league evolves and the game evolves.
All right, fair enough.
Anything else?
No, that was it.
All right, cool. So this is week 17. You watch, I listen. NFL picks. Next week we got to do one next week for the last of the season, of the regular season, no matter what. And maybe we'll do something for the playoffs throughout. Even if we jump on quick on what's it on Twitter, teams or groups, whatever. You can chat right on there.
I guess I don't know anything about that, but yeah, we'll figure it out.
All right, guys, we'll see you later. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Let's go Dolphins.